Hello YouTube, message in the bottle here, and today's video is a minor follow-up of the two videos I did before. And when I say two videos, I mean like the one that I made in response of Goldberg's video, because once again Goldberg, he makes amazing videos and he always keep it down to earth, which is exactly what I love about him. And that's why I keep continuing watching his YouTube videos, because he makes all of his videos down to earth, and that's something that most people, when they want answers, they want an honest answer, if that makes any sense. Like, they don't want anything biased. They want something that they want an answer that you could see it for yourself. Like, you could see that there's no bias, there's no motives or propaganda, whatever have you thinking. Like, there's no doubts about it. And what I wanted to discuss in this video, and as usual, I always use a picture that relates to the subject of the video, is why a lot of guys, they're giving up on dating, and of course why MGTOW is becoming a thing. But it's already a thing. It's been like ever since the internet became popular. But most importantly, when YouTube, like YouTube videos or videos in general, social media is becoming popular. The whole reason why this MGTOW, this black pill, this red pill, whatever have you, the reason why guys are giving up on dating is because, just like Goldberg when he said in his video about society, and I encourage you to watch that video, guys. I'm going to leave the link down in the description below, and of course the comment section as well, in case if you missed that. The whole reason why is because no matter what a guy does, he will get punished. Obviously, there will be moments where a guy is sincerely happy with a woman because the woman herself wants to be with that guy. Sorry, guys. Got a little reflex right there. But anyway, back to the subject. There will be moments where, when a guy is in a relationship, he will genuinely feel happy. He will genuinely be satisfied, and most importantly, the relationship will go both ways, happily and perfectly, as if the couples themselves, they're perfect with each other. But the problem is that happiness doesn't last forever. Once the quote unquote the honeymoon phase is over, I would dare say that's where the real test of the relationship begins. And of course, the biggest question of that relationship is how things are gonna last, and if they don't last, how things are gonna end. Like, if the guy realized that his relationship is eventually gonna be over in about 2 or 3 years, what he should be worried is how that relationship is gonna end and how he's gonna end up being. And the best example I could give right now is how often guys get divorced and how often they get screwed over that divorce. Think about it, guys. 50% of marriage, no, it's not 50. Over 50% of marriage ends in divorce, and 70% is initiated by women. And what usually happens in divorces? The court, or should I say the government, favors the woman. And the saddest part is that this is not just happening in America, it's also happening globally, but I would dare say mostly Western countries. So advanced countries like Britain, France, Spain, Sweden, Australia, New Zealand, you name it. The woman is able to divorce their man without no fault on their own, no obligation, and they get to get the resource of the guy. And just like this picture right here, in this picture that you see a woman yelling at a man, and the man feels essentially useless and hopeless. The man is basically powerless against his partner. Now, I want people to understand relationship goes both ways, but I feel like what people don't realize is that in relationship we have roles. We have roles in terms of partnership. To give you an idea, think about a business. The owner of the business, his role is basically to lead the business, and the worker has to help the owner of the business to make the business thrive. If the business do not thrive, then guess what? The business goes out of business. Like, you lose everything. The owner of the place loses his business, and the worker loses his job. In a relationship, it's essentially like that. The man is basically the house, like the man of the house, while the woman is essentially the heart of the house. Keep everything glued, keep everything stabilized. Now, the man is obligated to work his ass off, which I bet most people do. Most men in the relationship, they do. But the problem is, we're living in a day and age where narcissism is a thing. So, no matter what a guy does something right, even if he does something right, he will still get hurt, he will still get burned. And this is something that Goldberg in his video pointed out. Even when a guy does something right with his girl, the girl is still able to screw him over with the backing of the government, and she gets to basically walk away scot-free with zero consequences. And that's an issue. Why it's an issue? It's because if there's no consequences for a woman to screw over a good man, then she's essentially gonna, she's gonna do it. The only thing that might stop her is if she is a good woman that feels bad for screwing over a good man. But then again, that's on the individual of the woman herself. If the woman is not a good woman, then she will definitely screw over a good man without hesitation. And that right there, guys, is basically the problem here. Most women, they will screw over their husbands without a second thought. Why? Because there's no consequences in doing so. If there is consequences, then obviously it would discourage the woman from doing so. So, what's the only option for a man in this day and age to essentially do? Simple. Stay single and don't bother getting into marriages. Now, for the guys that are in long-term marriages, or not long-term marriages, but more like long-term relationship, they basically want to dip their toes in the water, but without the marriage stuff. They want to get a taste of marriage, but without the government, breathing down their neck all the time. And I have a feeling this is why MGTOW is becoming a thing, and the red pill and black pill is becoming a thing. It's because people want relationship. That's the thing. Us humans, we're like essentially animals. We basically do things based on our instinct, and we're willing to both kill and die for it. Die for those instinct desire. And one of those desire is getting into a relationship and start a family. We're programmed to be like that. We're programmed to be social. We're programmed to want to have a partner, want to reproduce. We're programmed to find a purpose in our life and stick with that purpose. For example, if a guy wants to become a doctor, then he is programmed to pursue that career field and become a doctor and help people out with their physical health. Same thing if a guy wants to become a mechanic. If he loves repairing machinery with a passion, he will pursue that career and do it with a passion. and a guy has a wife, he will take care of his wife the best as he can, as long as he's not abusive. Because let's be real, guys, there's always going to be bad apples in both sides of the genders. Like, let's not, beat around the bush about this. Like, there will always be both men and women, like terrible people. There will always be bad apples in both sides of the gender. There will always be a guy who's just crazy, a woman just crazy, etc., etc. But the problem is that we're living in a day and age where our culture is essentially, how do I say this? There's no consequences for getting into a relationship and abusing our partners and walking away scot-free from that um, scenario, if that makes any sense. I hope I'm making sense, guys. Basically, what I'm trying to say is this: we're living in a day and age where, when it comes to dating, when it comes to relationship, when it comes to marriages, there's no consequences for a woman for abusing their man, and they get to walk away scot-free. In fact, I would dare say they get to walk away with better wealth in their pockets, all because they get to screw with their own husbands. And when I say screw, I don't mean sexually, I mean like abusively. And then they get to screw around with other guys that is not their husbands. So when you have like a generation of young men growing up witnessing those things, guess what those young men are gonna do? They're gonna stay single because that's the only logical way to fight back the system. And it's not about violence. Keep in mind, we're not hitting a woman. Matter of fact, I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but if you guys watch any MGTOW, Red Pill, Black Pill YouTubers, you could really tell that these type of men, they want to be in a relationship, but they don't want a bad relationship. Every human being, I'm pretty sure every 90% of human beings on this planet, they want to be in a good relationship. They want to be in a relationship that works not just for them, but works whoever female partner they have on their end. Like I said before, guys, we're like social animals. As human beings, we crave for being in a relationship, and it's not just us men craving for a relationship, it's also women. Just look at TikTok. A lot of women are complaining that they can't find a good man. See, look, that's what I'm talking about. We human beings, we want to be in a relationship, but the problem is we're living in a culture where there's no, how do I say this? There's no reward for staying in a relationship when things get rough. So what do people do in that scenario? They simply either A, start being abusive with their partner, B, they simply start cheating, like that's one of them, or C, they simply walk away, like they just don't bother continuing the relationship, so they just walk away and go to another relationship, which, by the way, I've seen that happen a lot before. And sadly though, most relationship is where the man is powerless. So what do most of guys in the Western countries are doing? They're staying single. And in my previous video, I mentioned that about 40% of women are projected to be single in the next 30 to 20 years, I think. Actually, it's not going to be that long, probably in 10 years, because there's this report that says by the year 2030, which, by the way, is not that far off. We're about to have 2025 in a month or 2 months at this point of me making this video. By the year 2030, 40% of women are projected to be single. And I feel like that percentage might be a lot higher than people think, because once again, guys, they're not interested in getting into a relationship because they literally grew up seeing older men getting freaking abused by their woman, and the woman gets to walk away scot-free. So yeah, that's basically the consequences. So I hope you guys enjoy my video, and sorry if I sound a little different. I gonna make more videos. There's a couple of other videos that I want to do before I make a message video for a specific person. So thank you for listening, guys, and hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Goodbye.